Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem, Oregon for the past 20 years. He's served on the boards of the Salem City Club, the Salem Pastoral Counseling Center, and the Salem Ministers Association. Welcome, Reverend.
I'd like to ask the other faith leaders who are here today to come stand around me. They all came further than I did to be here. I only had to drive a few miles. And with us today we also have Pastor Reverend Groves from the First United Methodist Church in Portland. I am speaking instead of Janet Parker, who's newly to be installed minister at the United Church of Christ here in town. She's got laryngitis, but she's here in spirit today. Also with us are Pastors Melissa Reed and Pastor Terry Moe, or Mack? Moe, and they're from the Redeemer Lutheran and Reverend Project in Portland, Oregon. I dare say, thank you all for the long drive to be here today. I dare say if all the clergy in Oregon who were against the coal trains were here, they would outnumber you all today. Yes. When I first came, they told me that because there were so many speakers and we were going to run out of time, I had to trim my speech down. And then a few minutes ago they said, oh, we're running under time, you need to expand your speech. And I'm standing here wondering what I'm going to say. Are you lacking information about whether or not you think the coal trains are a good idea? Do you think it's a good idea that you're going to be driving through your communities and you're not going to be able to get someplace because there's a coal train coming through? You want to get your child to the doctor, there's an emergency responder trying to get there. Do you get that, right? Yeah. Okay. Do you get that if coal trains come through your community, that the coal dust that will come off, I learned something new a couple of minutes ago, thank you, doctor, 30 pounds per mile, and that's per train, 30, so year after year after year, do you get that coal dust is not good for you to land on your houses and your Venetian blinds and your gardens and your children? You get that, right? Yeah. You don't need that information. And you definitely got the information from the doctor. What a wonderful speaker he is. We're so glad that you're in our community, doctor. Do you get that it's not good for people's health, that coal is going to be coming into our lungs, and particularly our young children's lungs? You get that, right? Yeah. I can't tell you anything new about that.
How about pollutants?
Right. Have you been reading lately about how it is to be in Beijing, China? Can you even go outside now? The children. We're talking about our communities here, but let's think about the children in China too. If we are exporting coal to them, we're making it harder for them.
Yeah.
Woo! Thinking of our brothers and sisters in China, they have to stay indoors. They can't play outside. We get that. We get the idea that the toxic trains passing could cause untold damage to our lives, to our community, to our planet. And yet, look how many of us there are here. A few. It's nice, and there's some things going on in other parts of the community. But you know what? It's not that many of us, really. And I bet if we knocked on the doors of our neighbors' houses, it might be that a lot of our neighbors would, oh yeah, I've heard something about the coal trains. I've heard a little bit about them. I don't know what it is. It is so hard to get information into people's minds because we have this age of infobesity. Everything's coming at us all the time. That you have a hard time determining what's really, really important.
Oversaturation.
But somehow, we've got to get this into people's minds, but then not just into their minds, it's got to sink down into their hearts where they realize, hey, this will really hurt. This will really hurt our community. This will hurt our children. This will hurt our grandchildren. I was tempted today, but I didn't have any. I was tempted today to throw some coal dust on us. That wouldn't have been a nice thing to do, but just as a symbolic gesture, just so we would actually be able to see what coal dust looks like. It's so hard for people to translate the potential of something happening into the actuality of it happening. But this could happen. This could happen. These energy industry, the coal companies, they have deep pockets. They have deep pockets. And they are used to getting their own way. They know how to lobby legislatures. They know how to tweak their PR messages and make it seem as though jobs, 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 and they'll downplay and they'll say things that aren't true, and they'll say that, oh yes, we're going to spray surfactants on the cars and there'll hardly be any coal dust coming off. Never mind that the rain will wash the surfactants away and all sorts of things will happen, and there's just so many things that we don't know. There's so many things that could happen, and in spite of our presence here, and bless you for being here today, bless you for taking time out of your life to be here today, it's entirely possible that this could happen, that the coal trains could come through. And then people will ask, how come this happened?
Yep.
And the answer will be because in 2013, enough people didn't say no. Enough people. There were a few, but they were easily dismissed as environmental cranks and jerks and knee-jerk type people who just always are against everything progressive, or not progressive, but you know what I mean. You ever heard that quote? It's from Edmund Burke, I believe. All that's necessary for evil to prevail. And I think what the coal trains, we don't need to get into a theological discussion of evil, but all that is necessary for evil to prevail, and I think the coal trains will have evil consequences. All that is necessary for evil to prevail is what?
For good men to do nothing.
So we have to go out there, each one of us, and we have to give people hope. Hope that their voice can make a difference. Hope that they can make a difference. And you see, people have given up on hope. People don't hope anymore, and they just retreat into their little cocoons, and they say, well, at least I can have my private pleasure. People need to have hope again, that they can make a difference. So we're coming really close to the time when we're going to be doing ringing the bells, but I think that the coal trains are, in a way, and in a perverse kind of way, they're giving me hope, because I think we are recognizing there's a time when we have to say stop. We have to say stop. No more, no more, no more of this. We know what's going to happen if we don't say stop. So we're here today to tell Governor Kitzhaber to do the right thing, to put his foot on the brakes of the coal trains.